Tune into the Green and Growing program on Eagle Community Television with Holly Dickman, Ellis County horticulture agent. Holly will identify common lawn and garden issues and provide up-to-date information weekdays at noon and 9 p.m. on Channel 14. Green and Growing. Brought to you by Eagle Community Television and Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40 next to the Bickle-Schmidt Sports Complex.
We are towards the end of summer, and this is the time of year when I start getting a lot of phone calls about lawn issues. We have been extremely dry again here in the area, or at least the rains have been very hit and miss. And so in that case, a lot of the lawns have suffered some pretty severe drought stress. If you have a cool season grass like tall fescue or Kentucky bluegrass and you haven't been watering, it will go dormant. That does happen. And with a little bit of rain, hopefully in cooler temperatures in the fall, it will come out of dormancy. Now, if you have a lawn that you are watering consistently, your tall fescues, especially Kentucky bluegrass, those types of grasses, and you have an area of the yard that turns brown despite your efforts of watering, then you might check for grubs. We are at the time of year that grubs are an issue, and they have been doing some damage. And so a lot of times you'll see a big area of the yard turn brown, even though you've been watering. What I would always recommend for people that notice things like that is to actually go up and pull on the grass. If you can peel it back like a carpet, or it just peels up like a rug, that's a good indication that something's been feeding on those roots. And a lot of times with grubs, especially at this time of year, you'll actually see the grubs there feeding on the grass roots. And so that's the first test. Go up and pull on that grass. Make sure that you test to see if those roots are intact. If you find grubs, usually what we recommend is that you need at least 3 or so per square foot to warrant treatment. Actually, you could have more than that to warrant treatment. And the other thing is that this time of year, you do not want to use the grub preventers. Once you have those grubs there doing the damage, you need to use products that are labeled 24-hour grub killers, or those rescue treatments. One that we commonly recommend is Dilox, but there are others on the market as well. Now, if we have drought conditions and the soil is very, very dry, that's another thing to think about, because you want to make sure and water the grass prior to putting down that insecticide so it moves down where you need it. And then once you apply the insecticide, you'll have to follow the label, of course, but you'll want to water that down just a little bit to get it down to where those grubs are. And this is the time of year that they're doing their damage, so be on the lookout for that. Now, if you have warm season grasses like the buffalo grass and Bermuda grass, unfortunately it's been so dry that those grasses have just completely gone dormant in most cases, and they're looking brown anyway. But if you have been watering and you notice an area of brown, you might check for grubs in those grasses as well. It's not as common, but it's not completely unheard of, so go ahead and check. If you have questions about grubs or how to treat for them, contact your local extension office for more information. Reporting for K-State Research and Extension, Eagle TV, I'm Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Extension Agent.
Tune into the Green and Growing program on Eagle Community Television with Holly Dickman, Ellis County horticulture agent. Holly will identify common lawn and garden issues and provide up-to-date information weekdays at noon and 9 p.m. on Channel 14. Green and Growing. Brought to you by Eagle Community Television and Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40 next to the Bickle-Schmidt Sports Complex.